Let's face it, I just wanted to play with my lightsaber again. Hi again, I'm Ryan, your host of The Toast, and we're going to be talking about Rogue One, a Star Wars story. I wish I could say this movie was boring, so then I could call it Rogue One, a Star Wars bory. But it's actually pretty good. So this is going to be a spoiler-free review just for the one person in the world who hasn't seen this movie over the weekend. You know who you are, you Trekkie piece of shit. Now, I'm happy to say Rogue One is good, if not great, but it does suffer from being a standalone movie in a very big established universe. Now, this is definitely a Star Wars movie. It's all there, but I think about it like when a friend gets a haircut and you're not quite sure if they got a haircut, and you're looking at them thinking everything's the same, but there's something different here. There's something off. Did you get a haircut? This is most evident by the movie not following the standard kind of editing, pacing, and music cues of the original franchise. Now, the story of Rogue One, do I even have to explain it? We all know what the story is. Even my mother knows what the story is. Okay, maybe that is a bit of an exaggeration. So Rogue One is all about how the rebels obtained the plans to the Death Star. In A New Hope, the movie starts out with Leia on the run. She has the plans to the Death Star. She's trying to get it to the rebel base. They do the attack. They blow up the Death Star. Star Wars continues. But this is how they got those plans. This is the team of smugglers and bandits and murderers and assassins that went out and obtain them. And this is where the meat and potatoes of this story really lies, especially because our main character is the daughter of the guy who ostensibly built the Death Star. We get another leading lady with Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso, who I'm pleased to say isn't a super skilled badass from the get-go. That's kind of why I like her. I'm sick of everyone being a superhero instead of an ordinary grunt who performs above and beyond. And that's what Rogue One does well. Gritty, boots on the ground, dirty dealings of the rebellion. And on the side of the Empire, Rogue One really does fill in all the gaps that the original trilogy kind of left open. Especially why the Death Star has this super vulnerable weakness. And that kind of stuff is always what bugs real sci-fi fans. I mean, the original Star Wars came out in a time where those kind of plot holes and those kind of questions did not affect the whole movie. But now we analyze things to a degree that we will just pick it apart. It's kind of a shame that people watch movies way too critically nowadays instead of for fun, like I do, even though I'm criticizing it. Is that hypocritical? Anyway, it doesn't matter. The Empire, this movie really does show the scale of the Galactic Empire. That both in their death machines of how frickin' big they are, and in their presence in the galaxy. They really do seem like a giant, menacing, oppressive regime, even though their stormtroopers are still as fragile as a Ming vase in a tumble dryer. So with the Empire, we mainly deal with Ben Mendelsohn's character of Director Krennic. Krennic served his purpose, but I was hoping for a bit more of a charismatic character instead of someone who you quickly forget as soon as Vader or Tarkin enter the scene. Anyway, more on them in my spoiler review. Yeah, it's kind of tough to point right now because my finger's all broken and swollen from martial arts. Doesn't matter. No one cares about that. I'm going to cut that out. Pacing-wise, this movie does take a while to get going. It spends a lot of time introducing characters and setting up plot lines that, frankly, don't need setting up. I mean, this is a standalone movie. There's nothing to carry over into the next movie. We've already got the next movie. We definitely don't spend enough time with the main cast of characters to get invested and care about what happens to them, which is kind of a good and a bad thing. In one way, it's a big lack of character development, but on the other hand, it's appropriate for a bunch of characters in a movie that are pretty much expendable. Regardless, as soon as Rogue One hit the halfway mark, it was nothing but fun. Well, as much fun as a gritty war movie can be. I mean, this movie is definitely a more gritty feel than the more fantastical mainstream Star Wars films. Seriously, in the heat of battle, no character is safe because you know they don't have a place in a future film. To be honest, I didn't feel my true Star Wars excitement come out until the space battle began. The wash of cameos and references really did overload the movie at first, but by the end, it was totally worth it, and I'm happy to give Rogue One a toast. And I literally mean by the end of the movie, because at the end of the movie, the last scene was spine-tinglingly amazing. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, was definitely an experiment, but it paid off. I mean, everything it got right easily made up for its flaws. So if you want to check out more from me, click away, stay tuned for my spoiler review, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers! Lay off it, everyone swings around a lightsaber like an idiot when they got one in their hands.